So good news for savers, because you can now get 7% on your savings. Well, I say 7%, it might be a bit less than that. And I say your savings, it's not going to be necessarily all of your savings because there's a cap. But it's definitely one to think about. So in this video, I'll explain exactly what you're going to be able to make from it and some of the catches that do come along with this account. So what's it called? Well, it is called the Santander Edge Saver. This account is only available to customers who have the Santander Edge current account, not the Edge Up. That is a different account. I have got a review of that. If you want to watch it and learn about that account, you can. This is the Edge account. You have to have that. Now, when that launched in November of 2022, I wasn't necessarily a big fan of it. It offers more than just interest on savings. It also offers cashback on some spending and cashback on your bills. It might be worth considering that one as an account anyway if you don't already have the Santander 123 or the 123 Lite, because they are great ones. They are much better ones in my opinion in order to earn cashback on bills, but they're no longer available to new customers. So if you haven't got any of those cashback accounts, then getting the Edge account is not a bad option anyway to earn 1% on your household bills. The problem is with this current account, and we'll come to this later on when we talk about the Edge Saver in more detail, is that it comes with a fee of £3 every single month, so £36 a year. Now, if you are earning cashback on this account on your bills because you're paying those bills, then that may well wipe out that most of the cashback you earn. Effectively, I mean, you'll make a little bit of money, not a huge amount of money, but you'll make not as much as you possibly could. However, when it comes to the savings, then that potentially means this rate of 7%, which we'll come to in a minute, means that you'll be earning that full 7%. Now, if you don't earn the cashback on this account, maybe you've got one of the 123 or 123 Lite accounts already and you're focusing on them to earn the cashback on your bills because you will get a higher rate, or perhaps you don't pay the bills, then you will obviously be reducing your return on interest from savings on interest, because you'll have to factor in that fee. And we'll look at those numbers later on. There's also the possibility to have more than one of these accounts. And obviously, you can't get cashback on bills more than once if you're paying by direct debit. So you will have to factor in that fee, that £3 a month, £36 a year, again, on those additional accounts you might open in order to get additional Santander Edge Saver accounts. There's also maybe a way of work around the fee, but we're not 100% sure on that. So I'll tell you that now, but I'm looking into it. I've contacted the Santander press office. They haven't come back to me as yet. I will do an update both on becleverwithyourcash.com, which is my website, but also in one of my monthly savings account updates. Do them every single month, looking at the best different accounts out there. So if I get this information, I will confirm it or say it's not the case in one of those updates. So if you don't already, make sure you hit subscribe so you get those notifications of when those videos are released. But anyway, that is a Santander Edge current account when you're required to have to get the Edge Saver. Let's talk about the Edge Saver account right now. So you can have one Edge Saver per Edge current account, okay? And you can only have one personal Edge current account. You can also have a joint account. So this is where you can maybe get multiple ones. But okay, but it's one. So you open up your Edge current account. You can then open up, and you have to open up. It's not automatic. It's a separate account. The interest isn't paid into the current account. It's a separate account. You open up this Edge Saver account. Now, I say this is now paying 7%, which is huge. It's an increase from the previous rate of 4%, which when it launched last year, which at the time was okay, but the other things kind of meant it probably wasn't worthwhile. But now that 7% is way ahead of what you're getting right now in other easy access accounts. So the time of recording this, it's possible to get around 5% on a limited access account, or around 4.8, 4.9, around there on easy access. So you're looking at 2% more. Which is as a rate. So that is a big, big, big increase compared to what you're going to get on easy access savings. And if you are able to lock your money away, still your best is going to get right now is around 6%. Obviously, these things can change. I do give the latest Best Buy tables at becleverwithyourcash.com/savings. But right now, this is an exciting rate. And now in the middle of August, the most recent inflation figure we have is below 7%. So this is the first time we've been able to get a savings rate higher than inflation in, a good long while now, more than a year, maybe a year and a half. So lots of really good reasons to get excited about it. Now, what are the catches? Well, it's not just that fee that you've got to pay, which I mentioned, and we'll come back to that in a minute and see how that impacts the rate you'll get. there are some other conditions. There is a cap on how much you'll be able to earn this interest on. Your balance is up to £4,000. So if you have anywhere between £1 and £4,000 in that account, you'll earn 7%. Anything above 4%, you'll earn zero, nothing at all. So this is, again, only for a limited amount of money. Although, to be fair, most people in the country do not have £4,000 of savings, right? So it's going to be absolutely fine for them. If you have more than 4K, well, your money either has to sit in a completely different account elsewhere, or, as we'll get to in a minute, there is a way to get more than one of these potentially, but only if you're in a couple. That's the first catch. We'll say, the second catch, isn't it? First catch is the fee. Second catch is the limitation on how much you can earn it on. The third catch, and this is a really important one, is that 7% rate includes a bonus of 2.5% for 12 months. So after a year, this will drop down to 4.5%. Now, it is a variable rate, so obviously there could be other improvements as the year goes on, and maybe it'd be a little bit higher. But even if you're comparing where we are now, 4.5% right now, compared to what you can get elsewhere, is lower. And if you already have an Edge account, an Edge Saver account, which you set up at any point since it launched in last November, well, that 12 months, that clock is going to be ticking on that. So you won't even get the full year at this improved rate if you already have it. Obviously, if you're a new customer, you'll get it for the full 12 months. But this basically means that this is also, in my opinion, at least for now, an account you're only going to want for 12 months. In a year's time from opening it, or when that bonus finishes, you're going to be looking around, hunt around again. I've got my updates, got the best buy tables on the website, so hopefully that'll help you find alternatives. But you're going to want to move your money to a better paying account. It's not difficult to do, it's not hard to do, but you've got to remember to do it. So maybe put a note in your diary so you're aware exactly when that is going to come up. So they are the kind of the big problems with this 7% headline rate, which is really exciting, but starts to diminish when you factor those things. But I still don't think they're enough to kind of say, let's avoid it, because even with those three different restrictions, you're still going to be able to get a better rate that you can get anywhere else right now. The only exception is First Direct's 7% paying regular saver, but that one you can only pay in up to £300 every single month. That also only lasts for a year. So this is probably, I think, a better option if you have a lump sum. If you only have a small amount of money you're saving every month, up to £300, well, then maybe it doesn't really make too much of a difference. Either of those two accounts would be the top buy. But this is really, really good stuff. Obviously, so another caveat to say is other banks could respond and increase their rates, but we'll deal with the Santander Edge Saver right now. So what could you make from this account? Over on the website, I've done a full analysis of all of this. So let me get that page up on here and we can have a look at what you're going to earn at 7% and what you're going to earn if we factor in the fee as well on top of that. The £3 every single month, that has to be factored in. So you can see here, this is the table if you have just one Edge Saver account, okay? You've opened up the Edge current account, you've opened up the Edge Saver. That's the most you can open savers up with only a single current account. And as you can see here, the first column is how much you've got saved. The second column is how much you'd get at 7%. The next column is if you have to factor in that fee, that £3 a month, £36 a year. Again, this is only if you aren't already earning cash back on that account to cover some of that fee, to wipe that out. Okay, and that may be, as I said before, that may be because you don't pay the bills, or it may be because you already have a Santander 123 Lite or 123 account which earns more cash back and you want to keep that. So what we can see here is 7%. It's quite nice. If you have the full £4,000 in there, you'll get 280 quid at 7%. When you factor in the fee though, you see here there starts to be almost a cut-off point, a really sort of key thing here. If you have £500 in and you're also having to factor in that fee, you're actually going to lose money. Over a year, you're going to get minus £1. So you do not want to do that on very small amounts. And in fact, I think considering what rates you can get elsewhere right now, how we are almost around that 5% mark, and maybe a few others will go above that in the coming months, you're looking at £1,500 to £2,000 in that account before it starts to earn you more money than you could have in one of those different accounts. Again, this is only when you factor in the fee. But the more you put into it, the better your return is going to be. £4,000 with the fee taken into consideration actually works out about 6.1%. That's still better than you're going to be getting elsewhere. Still well worth considering this as your account. So that's the most simple option if you have just one Edge current account, and from that, the one Edge Saver that you're allowed. But before we get on to the other options where you can maybe hack this a little bit, it's worth just sort of going into a bit more detail about the trick in order to get more Edge Saver accounts. So as I mentioned earlier on, the rule are one Edge Saver account per person per current account. Okay? So that for a personal account, that's really obvious. You open up one, you can only up one personal Edge current account. You can only open up one Edge Saver account. Very simple, clear cut. The difference is for the joint account, each person can open up their own Edge Saver. So it's one single joint account with one fee coming out every single month, but two Edge Savers. So that basically means you're going to get more for your money. It's better if you're a couple to have one joint account, one joint Edge current account and two Edge Savers with it than two Edge current accounts, one each, and the responding same number of Edge Saver accounts. It's really confusing saying Edge current account, Edge Saver all the time. But remember, all the details are on becleveryourcash.com with full analysis, which I will link to below as well if you want to read over this again and haven't watched the video. So what does that mean for your return? Well, let's have a look. Let's pop back over to my tables I've got on the website. And this is cumulative, these numbers here. So where it says £4,500, it's assuming that first $4,000 up to $4,000 you've got is as that previous table. This is that you can now have an extra Edge Saver. How you factor in this is same £36 across the whole piece, right? So if cumulatively across the two accounts you have $4,500, well, suddenly your interest is 7%. Remember, if the fee is covered by cashback, if you'd have to factor in the fee, you get a little bit less, but 6.2. So it's increasing from that top end of 6.1 before. And you see that continues. If you have a maximum of $8,000, so $4,000 in each of these Edge Savers, then the effective interest after that single fee that you pay on that joint Edge current account comes up to 6.55. And it doesn't necessarily stop there, because if you have more money to save, well, then not only can you have that joint account, but you could open up maybe one more personal account. So you'd have two accounts, a joint one and a personal one, but that would give you three Edge Saver accounts, but only paying two of those monthly fees. So let's have a look again what the table looks like here. As you can see, again, as soon as you sort of go over into that next account, the extra fee comes into play. Rather than 36 quid a year, it's 72 quid a year you now have to factor in. Rate drops a little bit effectively, but then starts to increase again. So you'd have less money, you'd earn less interest, I should say, actually, on some of these accounts. But, you know, the more you kind of go into it, the more you put in, the higher it gets again. And they're all much, much better for these kind of balances that you're going to get elsewhere right now. And there is another one on top of this that you could take into account. This is if you were to have both a personal Edge current account and the joint current account, giving you four separate Edge Saver accounts, all earning that 7%, but with three fees to take into account, total of £108 over a year. You can still see you're getting, if you had the full 16K across those four accounts, £4,000 in each of them, about 6.34%. Now, this is obviously these stats here. That's those figures there. That's assuming that you are covering the fee on all of those. Some of that might be compensated by the cashback on the account. So actually you might find that rate is a little bit higher and your actual real return over a year is very different as well. A couple of things to bear in mind here that we're going to talk about this though. One of them to bear in mind is the fact that although those figures I gave you right now after the fee are slightly lower, when it comes to your personal savings allowance, that will be before the fee. Okay, so if you earn, I don't know, whatever it was, you know, £875 interest at 12.5K across those different accounts, but then the fee knocked that down to £769, it would still be the £875 interest that counts towards your personal savings allowances. Of course, when you use joint accounts, then that is split in two. So actually that's going to be 50-50. So you're still well off your total limits there, but it does get closer and closer and closer. And you do have to think about the tax impact on these higher rates. You know, something like this, it could well be that makes you much, much closer to your personal allowance, savings allowance. And if you're a higher rate taxpayer, then you're very likely you will go over that with the money in these accounts. One last thing to tell you about, it is possible when you're opening up the Edge current account itself for the first time, if you don't already have one, to get a little bit extra on top. If you go via the cashback sites, Quidco or Top Cashback, you can get up to £20 for opening the account via them rather than going directly to Santander. Now the amount varies. Last week it was 20 quid or 25 quid on both of them. Now it's dropped down to £8 or £10. These prices, these amounts will change over time. So I would certainly look at both different options to see which ones are offering the best rate when you are going to apply. And remember, if you haven't yet signed up to either of those cashback sites, look out for the welcome bonuses. Could be up to £17. I've got some over on becleveryourcash.com. So you head over there, search for cashback sites, and you'll be able to get one of those welcome bonuses, which will hopefully let you earn a little bit more. But they won't be able to stack them with the Santander offer because you need to make an actual purchase. So you want to sign up for that bonus, make a purchase at any kind of shop, anything from ASOS to M&S, and then sign up to the Santander account after that to get that extra, say 10 or 20 quid potentially back in your pocket. Although it might take a while for that money to actually reach you. There you go. That is a Santander Edge Saver. My name is Andy Webb. Don't forget to check out these videos to find out the latest top rates on your savings.